Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of Super Rugby Pacific to start the final round before the playoffs. Mark Talia, they are just showing him running his way out onto the field, sitting on 11 tries so far throughout this season. Managed to get himself 4 tries last week up against the Hurricanes. We'll be looking to back it up with a big performance here. But looking through at this blue side, Tuanga Fasi, Riccatelli and Lulala, the front row, then Tuipulotu and James Tucker, the lock and duo, a whole almost new combination at loose forward here. Tom Robinson, Anton Segner, and Dalton Pavali returns from his suspension. He will be playing number 8 for this matchup. Dalton Pavali, though he is not the only return into the side, they have got a couple other changes in the backline due to Bryce Heem's injury. Finley Christie and Stephen Perafeta, they will be the starting 9-10 for this game. Caleb Clark at number 11. Harry Plummer and Rico Ioane in the midfield. Mark Talia out on the right. And Zahn Sullivan at fullback. Then for the Highlanders, this is a must-win game for them to keep their quarterfinals hopes alive. Ethan the Group, Makaleo and Ainsley the front row. Parkinson and Hicks as the lock and duo. Frizzell, Harmon and Hugh Renton. They will be the loose forward trio. Smith and Burns the 9-10. Nareki, Gilbert, Waianga, Gregory and Hunt the rest of the starting side. But the Highlanders do kick off from right to left, and we are underway now at Eden Park, ladies and gentlemen. That looked like a very awkward tackle for Jonah Nareki, but the ball has actually been stolen, and Aaron Smith, early chance here. Now, if the Highlanders do not win this game, this will be more than likely his last game for the Highlanders in his illustrious career for them, heading over to Japan. Hi, says Greg, welcome in. And can the Reds make the final, or is it impossible? They are still sitting in 7th, so unless a few other results go against them, and that is including their loss to the Fijian Drua, I mean, they'll be pretty unlucky to miss out, but there is still a chance with this Super Rugby competition. The way it is set up, that's going to be stolen in the breakdown by the Blues. Now, Perafeta considered the pass on the outside to Clark, but he's dragged down by Frizzell. It's like a wet night there at Eden Park. Ricky Riccatelli now tries to spin out of the tackle with the group. Good evening, Hamish, says Mr. JJ. Welcome in, and big love, mate. Big love, everyone. Says Sebastian. Good to have you here. Early morning start for yourself in Romania for this one. Now, Tom Robinson, Big Red, only his 3rd start of this Super Rugby Pacific campaign. Christie goes back to Perafeta in the pocket. And that one's gone into touch. Nice little bit of pace shown by both of the sides early on, though. We saw the Blues to concede the ball or give the ball away early. Papali'i actually managed to get in there and get the turnover in the breakdown. Then relieved a little bit of that pressure. Oh, they're going upstairs. Chicken foul play already, and we're only a minute in. That is not ideal. And watching the game on TV, but with your commentary wicked, says Sam, and go the Highlanders, make it to the playoffs. Says Bads, and let's go the Blues, says Brandon. Right. 5 blue, who's a defender. So that's James Tucker. So you would assume that he's been hit. I guess screen's taken a little while to load up here, and decided to catch up on a bit of Super Rugby. I haven't got the faintest idea what's been happening this season. That's not acceptable, says Sebastian. Although, should mention, you've only got one more week. Next week, you're into the quarterfinals, and then from there, I guess everything makes a little bit more sense. This week's a bit of a weird one because there are so many sides. Okay, Tucker's going off for an HIA, but that wasn't in that breakdown, I don't believe, because that looked pretty timid. And I'm not late after all. Good evening, Hamish. Just got home from work. Time kickoff, says Spider-Mick, 7:05, so 3 minutes ago. The kickoff for this one. Also not great, says Mr. JJ there. I can't believe Aaron Smith is leaving, go to Japan. Must be getting mega money. Can't blame him for leaving. Yeah, he's stuck around New Zealand rugby a lot longer than 90% of Kiwis have. So, I mean, he's probably earned a decent pay packet, hasn't he? Yeah, once the playoff starts, I'll be all on, or it will all be clearer, says Sebastian. They're still waiting for this TMO to load up. They're just checking to see if there's a yellow card offence here. Tucker's gone off for the HIA. Right, they may have found it now. So, so they're trying to say that James Tucker, he made connection with Jermaine Ainsley's head Both of them were upright, but because Tucker wasn't the ball carrier, he actually ends up in the scenario of not just knocking himself out, but he's probably going to end up with a yellow card in this scenario. Oh, okay. Because Tucker's gone backwards in the contest, mainly because he's been knocked out, I've decided that it's only a penalty rather than a yellow card. And also, we have got there, he's had some mistimed blow jibes, says Mr. JJ. Right. Going to go back for the penalty for the Blues. No, sorry, against the Blues. Penalty to the Highlanders. So they might be able to take on the easy 3 points here if they want it, which I think that they will. Kiriwani, a man who they were probably only going to give maybe 15 to 20 minutes at the end of this match, now has to possibly play a full 78 minutes. Okay, they've just said that Tom Robinson will go into lock. And then I'd assume a Kiriwani would play number 8. But then maybe if Papali'i has already said, yeah, I'm going to be 8 for this one, they might go with that instead. Just leave him at 8, make it easier. And also we have got these Bowden Barrett playing Japan, says Greg. He will be next season alongside Richie Moonga. Geez, the list goes on. There's like 10 or so players already that have confirmed their departure from Super Rugby. And then that's just Japan. Like you've also got France, which has got Faina Nuku. I believe Frizzell's going to be heading to France as well. Nicely taken there by Sam Gilbert, who did also get the 3 points over. So now making the score 3-0 to the Highlanders, the away side. Every point in this game is crucial for them. They have to walk away with a victory, all but guarantee themselves a spot through. Downfield from Bryn Gatlin. I believe it would have actually been Freddie Burns. Sorry, now Clark. The options on his outside, but decides to pierce at the defensive line, run straight at Shannon Frizzell. Now Ricky Riccatelli, driven backwards by Hugh Renton. I think we're going to see a fast-paced game played by both of these sides. Mark Talia now finding the offload on the outside to Dalton Papali'i. First week back since his suspension. This is the last round here, says Spider-Mick. It is. Although last round robin stage. After that, we've got the quarters, the semi, and the final. And at the moment, the Blues are confirmed as one of the sides in the top 8. Looking for the offload there, Peter Feta, but gives away the loose ball. Had the advantage anyway, though, Ben O'Keefe has said. So they'll go back for the original penalty in favour of the Blues. And all you need to know is that the Crusaders look menacing, says Fleshin. And they've got a big game tomorrow up against the Hurricanes. It'll be the 7:05 p.m. game. That's going to be a very good one to watch. Also, Reds Fijian draw beforehand. But I feel like that Reds Fijian draw game has a lot more feel to it if the Blues are victorious here, because that then means that there's still a chance for these other sides. Like the Reds are sitting on 24 points. So theoretically, if the draw beat them and the Highlanders got beaten as well, there's a slight chance the Reds could drop out of the top 8. But it's still, there's a lot of results have to go against them for that to happen. The Highlanders, though, if they lose this game, they need either the Force, the draw, or the Rebels to win their game, and they'll go up. Ricky Riccatelli now at the rolling maul. Moving to only about 15 metres out at the moment here, the Blues, and it seems like their momentum is just going to keep on building. 10 metres now. Ricky Riccatelli gone down in the front, down by Blue, so they do have to use it. Goes to Christie. Now Mark Talia right next to the breakdown. He's everywhere last week. 4 tries. I didn't know that Fifth de Klerk is playing in Japan because I remember him playing for Sale Sharks. Says Greg. Yeah, there's a lot of players that have made their way to Japan. The likes of, another example is Damien Dialende. He was at Munster, but now he's actually in the Japanese top league. It's going to be the knock on there. Or was it? Hang on, Ben O'Keefe might have to have a bit of a think about this. Right, first of all, it's a knock on from the Highlanders. Okay. So it was a knock-on from the Highlanders, then a knock-on from the Blues. So that is why it's called as no try. Plus there was an extra knock-on in there from Robinson just to make sure. No, sir, says Fleshin, and also Malo Hamish from South Korea. Says Image there. Welcome in, mate. I've been keeping well. First of actually only 3 live streams we've got this weekend. We're a little bit light in terms of the streaming schedule. But then saying that, next week, I think we're back up to plenty taking place as well. And we've also got the Ashes just around the corner for the cricket. That will be 10 p.m. at night all the way through to 5:30 a.m., 5 days in a row, 5 matches in a row. So 25 times we're going to be up till the sun's up, which sounds like just the last 10 weekends. Thoughts on Finn Russell going to Bath next season? They would have had to give him a lot of money, but hopefully they haven't given him so much money that they are another club that add their name to the bankrupt list. Now, Finley Christie, ball available at the back of the scrum. The advantage is in favour of the Blues. They look like they're trying to get those couple extra metres. Now Smith tries to slap it down. Knock on from Sullivan. They'll go back in. It is another penalty for the home side. Jermaine Ainsley penalised for that one. They still have a chance of a 3 if they want it, but it seems like they want to be a little bit more aggressive. And also we have got to have a weekend off on the King, says Mr. JJ. And I says, Brandon, welcome in and let's go the Blues. They are taking the 3 points here. It is Tioa. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Blues taking on the 3. Highlanders will take that as a little miniature win because they were under a lot of pressure, only being a few metres out from their own line. Get those points on early. Be quite crucial. And they don't need to win this game by a lot. They just need to win this game. Like, if they won it, theoretically, they have to win their game by 33 points or maybe somewhere around there anyway to get into the lead. And then from there, the Crusaders would have to lose to the Hurricanes. And then that might adjust the points differential a little bit. So they've still got a chance of second place. Whereas the George Meister tonight, he is at his house. I asked if he was coming and he said, nah. He said he was going to be doing some editing and going for a run. So we might see him tomorrow, though, I believe, for the Hurricanes Crusaders game. It's going to be Tui Pelotu now. Tackled low by Jonah Nariki. Hugh Renton had his hands on the ball, and that will now be the penalty back to the Highlanders. They could take on the 3 and then get back to that 3-point lead. Sup, says Amelia. Welcome in. Have a little bit nervous. I am a little bit nervous about the Sunny Moon video, says Brandon. As long as you don't accidentally show anything that should be censored, Brandon, you'll be all good. You know, don't put the sex tape in there. That's the one thing I'd recommend. I'm so tired. 1 day down, 1 to go, says Amelia. 8 minutes in, Hugh Renton just saying now he may have touched the ground first. I mean, we've seen them penalised for a lot less in that case. And their Gamish Barrows out in Suva, says Vula there. My parents, they have actually just come back from Fiji. They got me a little gift. It's like a miniature instrument. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a drum, but not quite a drum. It's kind of, it looks like a canoe. If that rings any bells. And wickets up. The viewers are making me feel old, says Sebastian. And 2 cans of energy, drinking a cup of coffee, and I'm still tight, says Amelia. That kick's gone over, though. Now 9 minutes in, 6 points to 3. Game of penalties so far. You can see Akiriwani. I'm not sure what that attempt was. He tried to grab Hugh Renton from Hugh Renton's side of the ruck before he had even joined the ruck. He was trying to be blocker in the NFL. One's going high. I see taken just outside of the 22 now for the Highlanders by Max Hicks. And we have already established you're not old, says Grant, and been up since 5 a.m. Give you my message, says Brandon. And you know, you live stream on my birthday on June 17th. Not too sure of the schedule as of yet. I don't think the Ashes starts by the 17th either, does it? I think it's just a little bit later. I'm 50-50 shot. I even streamed the Rebels game, says Amelia. And come on, the Blues do draw a favour, says Mohammed. Yeah, that's the thing. If the Blues win this game, the Highlanders, they could get knocked out of the top 8. And then in that case, it would be all down to the Drua to try and get themselves the win on home soil. It would be a shame to see them win on home soil and then it mean that they still don't quite go through. But there's still a little bit of light at the end of the rainbow in that regard. Because the Reds, the Reds, they'd actually knocked the Reds out of that spot, I believe. So it's not all doom and gloom. It just means that maybe it's actually I've just done all the maths in my head. It doesn't really matter whether the Highlanders win or not. It's whether the Reds win up against the Drua. And then depending on the Force and the Rebels results, depends on, I guess, how high up they go, if that makes sense. It's all set up. I'm going to see how I go fatigue-wise, says Amelia K. Thrown in by Andrew Makaleo, I should say. Nicely taken by Hicks. Trying to roll forward a little bit here, the Highlanders. 11 minutes in already, I should say. And also Tosso drew a Tosso. There's Muhammad. Nicely taken again. Almost stolen in the breakdown, but Ricky Riccatelli now ends up with the ball again. Mark D'Elia going off to the left-hand side. Stephen Petafetta to Harry Plummer. Quick hands to Caleb Clark. Nice front forward, moving up to 30 metres out from the line. Blues by 20 plus in the first half, 20 plus second. Equals Blues 40, Landers 30. Says Spider-Meek, and let's go the Blues. Says Tui there. One's going to be kicked high, nicely taken by Jonah Nariku, or at least slapped backwards so that Freddie Burns is able to kick it in behind, looking for the territory game. Goes out about 5 metres out from the Blues line. A very good kick there from Burns. That is something we would have picked up in the Gallagher Premiership, playing for the Leicester Tigers. You space them behind, you take on that opportunity to try and force that other team. That little bit further back, Landers have this. There's Jason. They provide a lunch. We had like this pasta. I had like 3 plates of it because it was that good. There's Amelia K. And also we have got there Tossa Dura Tossa. Muhammad. Also apologies, General, says Sebastian de Grant. Finley Christie 10 metres out from the line. So the line out was successfully won by the Blues. Close to the touchline. Mitch Hunt decides that it was a little bit too far out to be able to bring back in. Let's just leave it alone. Almost up to the halfway line now. Highlanders coaches are looking very stoic the way that they're looking at this game. They know that this is pretty much, it's a little bit do or die. It's strange with Super Rugby because there's always a way. Unless you're Moana Pacifica. They're the only side that can't actually make it through to the quarterfinals at this point of the competition with only the 1 round left. But even if the Highlanders were to lose this game, they walk away with a bonus point, or even without, they could still stay in that top 8. That one's going to be out on the fall, though, from Freddie Burns not getting the territory right on this occasion. I don't think a can of Monster Energy drink will even keep my Namas awake tomorrow, says Amelia. Sounds like you do need an early night. I had to guess. And the Blues have some pretty epic games. Go the Chiefs, says Mr. JJ. Now Ricky Riccatelli to throw the ball in. The Blues currently down by the 3 points. Keeping it close. The early stages of the match. Now Ricky Riccatelli, that rolling maul. It's been a little bit stop-start. It looks like it's now starting to take a little bit more shape here. Pari Parkinson, I believe he came right through the middle and he's got his hands on the ball just to annoy Finley Christie, who has knocked the ball on in the process, making the mistake there. And now the Highlanders, they will have themselves the scrum feed. Pari Parkinson, a player who's had a new haircut most seasons, or in fact most games that we've seen him play this season. Only that long between them. He's got the hands over it. Finley Christie trying to rip that ball out and then just ended up getting it stripped out of the hands. And nice pressure, says Jason. Yeah, very nice work from Pari Parkinson. Big long arms. A little bit longer than Christie's. Kiriwani back off the field. James Tucker back out on the park. So that means he passed the HIA, which is quite impressive because he got knocked out completely. He was sleeping for a bit. And then, yeah, just resurrected. Good to go again. 15 minutes in, Aaron Smith doesn't want this one to be the last game of his Super Rugby season. There is a chance that it could be. It's the last home game last week. Keep the space from Ben O'Keefe. That's mental, or there's mental oldness. Seb's a vampire. There's flesh in there. Right, require a bonus point win to secure a spot in the playoffs or rely on other results to go their way. So, yeah, if they get themselves the bonus point win, they're safe, but then it becomes the Reds who are on the chopping block with a chance of getting dropped out of that side or the top 8 side of the draw. At a group head there with Nipolalala in the scrum. 2 All Blacks candidates, I would say. The upcoming World Cup, that's a big push from the Blues. Their Highlanders ball got stuck in there, but brilliant work from Andrew Makaleo to actually be able to kick that ball back. Now kicked them behind from Freddie Burns, looking for the 50-22. Nicely controlled by Stephen Petafeta. Off to Mark Talia now. Big fend there on Sam Gilbert. Starting to find a bit of a gap. Steps round 1. Finds the offload away to Anton Segner, the young German. Now moving up hard towards the 35-metre line. Bumping off Burns. Knock on from Petafeta. Kick forward from Rico Ioane. We'll go back for another scrum. But that was almost a full field try from the Blues. And that is what the Highlanders have to be careful about. That counter attack. They've got, come on, Blues, no time to be nervous. You've been doing this so many times. Come on, says Buttermilk. And sure, there is more than just his arms. That will be long. Would be longer than Christie's, says Jason. Of course, you are talking about his legs, Jason. Another limb on the man's body. Royal Rumble 2025. It's down to Sammy Guevara and MJF. MJF gets a mic, says, I'll give you a blank check that you can fill out. You'll jump over the top rope, says Kiwi Gamer. I think a bit of foreshadowing going on from before, and Petafeta rubber fingers, says Spider Mac. Rubber's fingers is a new one. I always hear butter fingers, but rubber fingers. I thought rubber had quite a bit of grip. Talia taking some deep breaths. I'm sure he will be back in the action very soon, though, obviously, says Jason. Yeah, of course. And his cot. No. Now, 13 and a half minutes down. Freddie Burns kicks it in behind, looking for that territory game again. He's found that Petafeta's been caught slightly out of position back there. Has been able to get a few extra meters in the process, but that is a great kick from Petafeta. Gets it down towards the halfway line. Highlanders now once again with the line out throw. I think we could end up in the scenario, if we're extremely lucky, I guess you call it in some regards, to have a whole half without a try in Super Rugby. And it could be this game. I feel like it's going to be one of those seesaw ones that the Highlanders win a penalty somewhere within about 30 metres of the Blues line. They will probably take on that 3 again. I have to try and break that line, though, which is quite tricky to do. We've seen a lot of nice tackles being made. That is going to be the penalty. Right, I said within 30 metres. That one's 40 metres out, so they may still consider that 3 points. Sam Gilbert, nice attack and run forward. Smith, back across to the left. It's put down by Ethan de Groot. And that will now be the penalty. The Highlanders again. A morning, Kiwi lads. Mild, cool day in Cape Town. Hope you're all doing well. We're doing great. Freaky Friday here, says Ruth. Yeah, nice early morning for yourself. It's been weird weather here at the moment because it's been very warm at night, and then I think next week it's supposed to just be terrible. But like, it's been nice enough weather that if you go out at night time, it's like, it's mild. Like, it's almost Jersey weather, but you could almost get away without one. You just get a tad cold. Highlanders to get the win, love their jerseys. Says Reuven, good morning, Ruth. Says Sebastian there as well. And also Tui has got the Blues hearts there. Who's in Dunedin for the ABs in August, says Jason. I was actually considering sending my parents down for that game, but I believe on the same, I think it's on the same day that that's taken place, my cousin's having her engagement party. So I believe what's going to be happening is we're going to be heading north rather than south. I'm going to be commentating that All Blacks game from a spare room or a hotel room. And then we're going to be going to the engagement party afterwards, all the way from South Africa. There's Randall there. So, yeah, early morning for yourself as well. That'll make the score now still 6 points to 3. Not quite successful priorities, is Jason in there. Yeah, I feel like your dad will be the most disappointed, the fact that he might almost miss the AB's test match for the engagement party. No, I'm sure he'll be happy enough. Although if they pick the Sunday rather than the Saturday, I'm sure he also wouldn't be complaining. That's going to be knocked on by Sam Gilbert. A little bit high from Hugh Renton, so that becomes the penalty rather than the knock on. Thursday night in Raro. Loving your stream, so come on the Blues. Says David, what do you think about Queensland versus New South Wales? Queensland ran away with it in the end. Going to be very tough now for the Blues to win the series, I have to say, because next game taking place in Queensland, it's going to be a tough one. And also, morning, Sebastian. At last, got a day off to relax. I'm going to eat some leftover beef samosas. Says the roof, and hopefully your cousin is not getting engaged to you, Hamish, says Grant. No, of course not. I would not schedule my engagement party on the same day as a Bledisloe test match. So that's how you know it wasn't my cousin. And I'm married to me, and also because it was my cousin. You know, New Zealand were more fond of sheep. That's not actually the case. It's a stereotype. Fleshin will know a thing or two about that, won't you, Fleshin? Being from Wales. Plummer now 40 metres out from the line. Now Christie getting tackled by his opposite number, Aaron Smith, Tuipulotu. Gets it up now 38 metres out. Tuanga Fussy around the bootlaces. Another tackle made by Smith. Christie across the Perifetta going down to this right-hand side where Mark Talia's waiting for it, but Zahn Sullivan doesn't quite get the offload away. Irish don't take any notice of these cousins jokes. Are you rocking in maroon hoodie there? Says the roof. Big run from Tuanga Fussy and Ricky Riccatelli slides over. First try, Mitch Hunt, he's just saying knock on, knock on, knock on. Where was the knock on? I assume maybe in the process of the grounding. They will have another look at this one, but not as the TMO as of yet. Or at least we know. You're not from Gore, says Jason. True. Yeah, they get a bad rap, don't they? Ricky Riccatelli. Offload from Zahn Sullivan. It was a tricky one, but Robinson was able to pick it up nicely. And then, yeah, Tuanga Fussy. Then went to Ricky Riccatelli. He's saying there's a knock on. We're going to get to see it from another angle because he was protesting for it. Oh, yeah. No, he might have an argument there. I think the ball was lost. And then from there, Ricky Riccatelli regathered. And also, TMO, what's for? That's a try. Right, Ben O'Keefe is going to be going upstairs for it and good work the Blues. Says that, and also the Blue Hearts from Tui, and I can't wait. David wanted to step onto that field. To be bashful, embrace our mutual sheep-loving culture. Says Fleshin. I actually have a shirt that says what happens in the sheep pen stays in the sheep pen, but it's, of course, a novelty one, not a regular Saturday night. Yeah, that might have been it was the penalty advantage anyway for the Blues, so they will probably go back for a penalty anyway. Okay. They were playing advantage. Knock on. Not supporting the body weight, so it is going to be the penalty to the Blues. Yellow says the snooze. And come on, someone get a try, Highlanders. Do the fling thing over the line. Says Roof. And I wonder who the Highlanders will face in the quarterfinal if they win tonight. More than likely either the Crusaders or the Chiefs. Okay. Ben O'Keefe told Billy Harmon, just let us do our job. The only reason they went upstairs was probably because Mitch Hunt did ask about that one. That's an autobiographical autobiography. Lucky I can't say that word. Ward. I don't know where I got my New York accent from. Biographical. Shit, that's a good word. Put that in a bloody crossword. No need to go upstairs. Come on, says Spider Meek. Crusaders rock. Richie Moonga is still the king, says Ruth. Now Ricky Riccatelli will be throwing this one in for the line out. Anton Segner takes it nicely. What a shouting going on with that rolling maul. Trying to creep forward just that little bit further. Looks like it's pretty well static at the moment for the Blues. Riccatelli deciding what way to go. Goes off to the left-hand side. Mark Talia is lurking. You can tell that he wants another try. Now Christie off to Pitafetta. And also, Hamish, is that really you or a robot? Says Spider Mech. Wouldn't it be great to have a robot who fills in for you on days that you're not available? That would be fantastic. I always say if I was an identical twin and we both did this would be very easy because you'd have one of us sleeping during the day, one of us sleeping during the night, and then you just switch, mix and match, you know? Good luck, Tui, and the Blues. There's a roof there, but that is going to be another penalty on the way of the Blues. And this time they are going to take on the 3, so that will make the score 6 points to 6 between the two sides. So the chance of that scoreless first half, maybe. Still can't help but compare current Highlanders to 2015 squad. Can't see that happening again anytime soon. That's the thing. They've lost so many big names, haven't they, over the years? Yet one that has stuck around was Aaron Smith. And now that they've lost him for next year, I don't know where they're going to be sitting overall, to be honest. Like, losing him, I don't know whether they've got any replacements as of yet. But yeah, the likes of, old school, you're looking at not even just 2015, just general players that they've had in the past. They've had Squire, Ben Smith, Waisaki Naholo, Fekatoa, all these great players. And now, there aren't many of those boys who even get selected for the ABs or even gets considered for the ABs. Well, I know Bowden Barrett or Clark. Clark is playing. Bowden Barrett's not there, I think, due to resting or maybe a little bit of an injury. Hi, says Padza. Welcome in. You are all right. I saw your comment a little bit earlier on before the live stream did start. I'm probably leading well. You're looking pretty smooth in that mustache, says Ruth. It's still not quite attached to a good solid beard, I have to say. Like, it's not quite there. I'm hoping it grows one day. Hugh Renton is very underrated. He is. He's a great player, Hugh Renton. Solid number 8, and also has that versatility of being able to play multiple positions. This game decided by the ref. They out to get the Blues. Reason, wouldn't have a clue, says Spider Mick, because it was a knock on. So they had to. So now Smith back across to Jonah Nareki. Goes to Sam Gilbert. Ball on the outside to Waianga. Almost having a bit of an awkward slip there. Mr. Zahn Sullivan. Back across to Mark Delia. In fact, it's gone over his head. But he's been able to pick the ball up nicely. I swear they just lather that man in oil before a game. Like, no one seems to be able to touch him when he's out there. And also top bloke after the game with the kids and fans in general. Says Jason in Saturday Morning Fever. You look sexy. Do you model for Calvin Klein in your spare time? No. No, I don't. I don't own a single item of Calvin Klein clothing. So that probably is why that they wouldn't go for it, alongside a lot of other reasons, I would think. Prediction says Levi. I think it's going to be a close one. Decided by one try or less. What we'll go with, and score is level type game like John Travolta's trousers. There's a roof. Nice step there from Harry Plummer. Forward pass out to Anton Segner, which the referee has not seen, but he'll go back and see it soon, Spider Mick. Don't you worry. Now going off to the short side again. Christie goes off to Harry Plummer. Making some good meters. That pass to drift that a little bit forward. Zahn Sullivan now back around the breakdown. Tui Pilotu. Big shot being put on him. Looked flat, says the snooze. He sounds similar to Marco Vunapola, says Jack Lewis. I don't think I've actually ever heard that man talk. Landers can win tonight, says Blues Nate. Nice ball again. Rico Ioane. Asking for the penalty, doesn't receive it in the end. Tuanga Fussy goes back to Zahn Sullivan. Now Plummer with the cutout pass. Inside ball from Anton Segner. Now Mark Delia finds the offload of Big Red Tom Robinson. Moves to within 15. To the left. Big run from Nepololala. Another big run forward from the props. Tuanga Fussy this time. Christie sells the dummy. Tui Pilotu's over the line. Scores the try for the Blues. And that will be their first one in 28 minutes. Are you from Scotland or Spain? I can't tell, says Jack Lewis. I think I'm supposed to be from Scotland, but I couldn't tell you. I think it's like way down the chain somewhere. I once won a tug of war competition at a Celtic Games, if that helps. Celtic. Was it Celtic? No, it was a Scottish Heritage Games. In fact, didn't try the haggis though, so maybe I'm not really Scottish. Beds are overrated. Still can't grow one, says Flesh. And good to see Nazi Manu as the mentor for the Highlanders these days. Brother Hamish, how are you this evening? Kiwi lads, WhatsApp, let's go Blues, says Justin. And now the Landers by 11 is the prediction. And Beds are glorious, says Grant. And Flesh and Beds are super cute and rugged, Says Roof. I feel like cute and rugged's slightly different, aren't they? Almost onomatopoeia, you know? 37 meters out now. First kick off a try of the evening. Barry Plummer. The attack is there. The over read, I compare equal to its over read or over read, maybe overplay. Is that what this news meant? And if the Blues win this, are they up to second or stay put in third? So they would have to win this game with a bonus point. So they need to get 3 or more tries than their opposition. And then if they win it by 33 points, they would end up being above the Crusaders. But of course, the Crusaders can drop if they lose their game to the Hurricanes and don't walk away with any points. That will kind of cut down on that points differential. Tui Pilotu, good run forward. Low tackle made by Frizzell, but there was a massive gap in the Landers' defence. And also, Aluai Blues, says Scott. Right. Kick off now for the Highlanders, who are down by 7. 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Towards the touchline, nicely taken by Tui Pilotu. Now, last time that he was able to claim the kickoff, they managed to isolate him and put him in a tricky position. They did win the penalty. This was not the case this time. And also, Hamish has a goatee and a beard, works well. Says Roof, and Matty Roof. Landers rocking the Blues. Who's Scott? Says Nate. Scott Sene in there. And I was playing Richard Hammond wants to tag out and Clarkson and May. Like the other team on the outside of the ring. I see. He's got the whole Top Gear crew together, or the old Top Gear crew, I should say. Clarkson's not allowed near that show anymore, is he? Unfortunately. Now Freddie Burns inside of the in-goal area for the Highlanders. Could have forced it. Decides instead to kick up a touch, and that will get them down to about 22 meters out. Put them under just that little bit more pressure. I think that's an actual goatee and beard. Or an accidental goatee and beard, says Grant. And Clark's defence as compared to how the boys play at times, Clark just needs to mark. And Blues getting shook by the Highlanders all day long. 8 minutes remaining, though, and they'll be looking to get this rolling ball going again. It's actually been quite an effective tool for them throughout this match. Even though it's been at like weird, awkward angles, it's still making those meters. Good to be back, Kiwi Josh. Living in the Netherlands, says Josh. Welcome back, mate. It's been a while. Last year? No, maybe not quite as long as last year, but it's kind of close to it, isn't it? Hope you've been keeping well. Ipolo Olala, taken down again by Putty Parkinson. Now off to Rico Ioane. Nice step. Tackled by Harmon. Round the side now. James Tucker. Moving to 5 meters out. The Blues looking good on attack at the moment. That will be the penalty won by the Highlanders, though. I think it was Max Hicks who got in there. Got the turnover. And also we have got there, watch the scoreboard. Says that Spider-Man second half should be played in the first. Says the snooze. I see. Daddy says Jimmy Longschlong. Probably not me, buddy. I don't think I'll be old enough to be many people's dads. Definitely not ones who can type anyway. If I had to grow one, I'd look like Mel Gibson. Says Ruth. Yeah, Mel Gibson, he had a decent beard, didn't he? More of a white beard now. I think that man's going to play a very good Santa Claus role in his future. As long as he doesn't drink too much. Although that's kind of tying into Santa a little bit, isn't it? Drua versus the Reds. We are going to be covering it tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. New Zealand time. Going to be a great game. Jermaine Ainsley goes to Aaron Smith, who sold the dummy completely. Sold Tucker the wrong way. Jimmy Longschlong. I'm sure if you ask enough YouTube streamers, you'll find your father eventually. Although maybe men in your area might be a better option. You know? That's a nice run from Freddie Burns. Offload to Hugh Renton. Oh, it's a knock on. Ball's been put down. No one's seen it. Okay, now they've seen it. No, it's an advantage. Oh, no. Now the Blues are just going to attack from there. They're like, right, if they haven't seen it, we might as well just continue. Nipple Olala back across now. Mark Tully ends up with this ball in the midfield. Trying to break through. This time he's knocked the ball on. And Drua versus the Reds says up here again. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And Lebock, I need some stilettos and lipsticks. What's wrong with him? There's Ruth. And yes, for about 4 months, too long. Happy to be back. There's Josh there. And right in time for Super Rugby finals. Well, that's why there should be more time on the Jackal. There's a snooze. Possession so far, 73% in favour of this blue side. Territory, 68%. The Highlanders need a bit more of the ball, I would say. And also probably need to stop going for the threes at this stage of the match. Just because I think they'll need a few tries. Try and get in there. Get a bit closer. Hamish, you need leather pants and a waistcoat, waistcoat with that mustache. There's Ruth. Can honestly say I don't own either of the two that I know of. Yeah, no, I don't have either. I have a cowboy hat, but that's for other occasions. And the Blues will kick the Highland or will kill them. Oh, okay, not just defeat them. They're gonna get them real good. 22 meters out. Highlanders now in position, looking to the short side. Give him much angle. Kicks it down the middle of the field. Sits up now for Stephen Petafeta. Mark Talia now looking for the pass on the outside. Finds Rico Ioane. Does have Plummer with him. Goes, nah, not going to him. Oh, Renton. Very quick in there for the breakdown, but not able to get the ball now. Zahn Sullivan tries to cross kick here. Mag 6 goes up. Clark knocks it on. They'll have to get this ball back. Going back for the initial penalty again in favour of the Blues, and that time it was offside. Come on, Highlanders, move it past the wingers. Outside running. There's Roof, and how's the French boss? I hope he's looking after his employees. There's Nate. And come on, Blues, hold on to the damn ball. There's no rain tonight. Isn't there? I thought I saw a drizzle earlier on. But it seems like it's still relatively dewy out there. A little bit of slipperiness on that, perhaps. So they're going to kick for the corner again here, the Blues, though. I'm relatively aggressive in the way that they're playing. You should at least support your feet for 5 or more. Says the snooze. Wait, 5 or more, like seconds or like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. It's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. By then you're getting smacked by some big forward who's trying to take your head off, I would think. And now I can't get the image of Hamish in leather pants, waistcoat, and a cowboy hat out of my head. Says Grant, tell you what, it's next Halloween sorted though, isn't it? I just have to leave the mustache and acquire the other items. Oh no, Hicks's butt's out for all to see. In fact, no, it's the number 4, Putty Parkinson instead. Ricky Riccatelli round the side now. Freddie Burns gets over the ball, and the penalty goes their way. Nicely done again from the Highlanders, only a couple meters out from their own line. Hey, Nate, he's super cool. His DJ name, Fred Spider. He's been those discs good. How many minutes says Dewey at the moment? Only 2.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Freddie Burns, his nose is bleeding. It's going to turn the color of his kit soon. That away maroon color. Who do they give the kick to? I think they're going to go to Burns once his nose stops bleeding. Done well in the process. Get in that turnover. Yeah, that nose is still dripping a little bit, so we have to sort that out later. 2 minutes remaining in this first half. That defense against its counter ruck wins all day, Hammy. There's a snooze and make it blue. So that will get them down to the 22-meter line now for the Highlanders. Once again, that rolling ball went off at that awkward angle for the Blues. Buddy Parkinson goes back to Smith now. That's a long. Is that out on the full? No. It's a good kick in the end from Smith. Now to 45 meters out from the Blues line. And Dan sounds like an awesome boss. And Grant YMCA. And we'll go for then, says the snooze. 90 seconds remaining. They've said this may be the last game for Aaron Smith at Eden Park. He had his last home game last week. The game up against the Reds, in which they were able to win it in the final moments, which kept their top 8 dreams alive. That is going to be another advantage now in favour of the Blues. Finley Christie looking for the kick in behind. Going to be sitting up now for the Highlanders. I'll go back again for another one. Oh, now they've got a decision to make. I think they'll go for the 7 here, even though there's a chance they go 3 because it will use up the rest of the half. I'd like to see them kick for the corner though, because at the end of the day, oh, Dalton, he's gone for the 3. That is the logical option, but I thought maybe they would have been trying to get themselves the 3 tries or more than their opposition, then end up in that scenario of more likely a semi-final home game rather than away. But that is not the case. And Hardbro says, Nate, send him Grey Goose vodka. It's French vodka. Says Nate. And good 3 for Papa Lee, says the snooze. And let's go Smurfies. Or Smurfies. Says Tui. Now lining up the kick here. Harry Plummer. Yeah, the siren sounding. 49 meters out. And also very good lead. Champs round. Or champ rounds. Oh, on our captain brother. That is if this kick goes over, though, which I believe it should be able to. Harry Plummer normally pretty successful in his goal kicking ventures. And it's looking pretty good from Harry Plummer. Goes over, and that will now make the score 16 points to 6. This contest at halftime. And my bad, Hamish, what a rude guy. Hello, Hamish. How are you? Hamish, Shocking A, mate, says the Blues day. Nah, it's all good. I'm doing all right. It's been a weird day, not just in the rugby, but also in just general. It was an interesting situation outside the house a little bit earlier on. Police cars and people being detained and all sorts. Meanwhile, I was just sitting here trying to film one of my lineup videos going, should probably wait a little bit just in case, you know. And agreed, says Grant. And we need Janae to do, here to do a meme of Hamish in his leathers, says Fleshton. How are you, boss? How's your week been? I know being home alone. Or I know being home alone. Yeah, so the parents came home yesterday for a night and then now they're back away for the weekend again. So that it was good to see them very briefly. They were back up going to a golf tournament over the weekend. So yeah, back home alone. Should be all right. Being quiet as it normally is. And Red and Blue Lights, Police 10-7 says, or Police 10, yeah, Police 10-7 TV. Yeah, although I think, to be fair, with the amount of cops that they had, they wouldn't have been able to get them all in one shot of the camera. They would have needed multiple angles. Odd game so far, said Javondre. Yeah, a bit of a low scoring one, but both sides certainly still have the potential of going on, getting themselves the victory in this contest. It's 10 points difference, so they're going to need a little bit of something here, the Highlanders, in their later stages. But 40 minutes is a long time. So I've been told. Mark, to be the next AB superstar, says Gita. Nice to hear, boss. Parents enjoyed their holiday in Fiji. They did. The weather was nice and warm. But even coming back to this weather, it hasn't been absolutely terrible over here. So, you know, I think they were almost ready to kind of put the feet up and chillax yesterday, but then they had their next trip that they left for today. And the thing is, they had to go and travel about 3 hours from the airport yesterday. And then they had to travel 3 hours back to where the airport was because they had to drop off some stuff and then also get my mum's clubs because they wouldn't fit in the car. How's your hippo shirt going? There's Linus Tube. It's all nicely ironed. Looking good. Now we know Hamish lives near the next to drug dealers. Not quite next to them. They strategically parked outside my house so they could all wander down the street. Like, and for a start, I was like, oh, it's a cop car. And then I was like, oh, it's another cop car. Oh, and then there were like maybe 8 cops all armed and ready to rumble. So they all started walking down that way. So I kind of said to the boys, oh, cops are outside the place. Something about to go down. And then, yeah, like maybe not even 5 minutes later, they must have found the guy pretty quick, brought him back, stuck him in the car out there, and then took him on his merry way. Never to be seen again. The famous Waimiri cartel, says Sebastian. And what did Snow White say when the photos of her and the 7 dwarfs were not done? Someday my prince will come. That wasn't one of your worst ones, Kiwi Gamer. I'll give you that. And they have a shirt, nice, Hammy. But next time Kerr sends one, George better get one too, brother, says the snooze. And I was like, well, your mate says that Blues, Nate. to Sebastian. Yeah, it was a weird experience because like I was just about to record our first lineups video, and I was thinking, oh yeah, no, I'll just turn on the lights on this side, and then yeah, just podcast just everywhere. So I was like, I'll wait till they come back before I start filming, just in case in the background you hear a couple or something like that, which I didn't think would be the case. But you don't know with these things, do you? So I just waited, and then they were back. They did it very quickly because they must have known I was going to be recording. And yeah, that was the afternoon. Really, went down to the supermarket, got some bananas. A hectic trip. About all I've done today. Got bananas, edited, and saw some cop cars. Big Love Nate Cheers doing all right and hectic, says Lightfoot in there. And the joke was unexpectedly good, says Grant. Yeah, it wasn't one of his worst ones, was it? Overall, fair play is in order. Currently 7:55 p.m. here in New Zealand. There is another game taking place in about an hour and 40 minutes' time. That is the game between the Brumbies and the Rebels. But we are not covering that one on the channel, I should mention. But we have got two games tomorrow that we are doing. The Fijian Draw versus the Reds at 4:35 p.m. And then alongside that, we've got the Hurricanes taking on the Crusaders at 7:05. Just talking about the disallowed try. They had an awesome brother, solid. Sebastian says, lose Nate. See, I should have the cap on, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's a bit hard to see, mainly because of the lighting, but DKL hat. It was an interesting or very interesting Chiefs lineup this week, says Javondre. Yeah, they've got the option of going with a little bit of a mixed bag, don't they? Just because they're in a good position. They can't lose number one spot, but they can't rest all their players as well. They got to make sure that they are still keeping them relatively fresh. So yeah, you're going to have a bit of a mixed bag. They're playing the Western Force at 2 or 12 a.m. Sorry, I should say, on the Saturday. Do the Blues deserve to be leading at halftime? I'd say so. They've had around 70% possession and territory, and then alongside that, like they've just made more of their opportunities. And who's leading the stats on possession and Super Hammy? Says the snooze. Wait, so the whole competition in terms of possession, I don't think they have that stat on their Super Rugby website that I know of anyway. And true, looking slick, boss. Kiwi lads cap. And Amish looking awesome in that hat. Ignore those rude people. Says Ruth. I tried wearing a hat backwards the other day. I felt very gangster, but then I got scared, so I put it around the right way. Are you going to post that on you? Are you going to post that on your channel? Which one? Like the cops or the hat? Kiwi Gamer. Kiwi lads cat Amish is here to prove the groove. Says Sebastian. Hmm. I'm an extremely groovy individual, I've been told by you. That's the only person who's called me groovy, I think. Well, to be fair, you didn't even call me groovy. You just said I'm trying to prove that I'm groovy. Tackles missed 19 from the Highlanders in this matchup so far. 93 tackles made. Go the Blues, says Lux in there as well. I've realised that I probably did well to just read that first part, or else then something else would have come out. Are you streaming the Reds game? We certainly are. So that's the 4:35 p.m. game tomorrow. Then we are doing Hurricanes versus Crusaders, and then we haven't got a game after that because we've got to leave early tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but the morning after. We're leaving early to head up the road. Whereas the fiddler, he's at his house. Yes. He said that he was going to do a little bit of editing and then go for a run, so that's why he wasn't coming around for this contest. But he might be joining me tomorrow for the 7:05 p.m. game, I assume, seeing as he's working tomorrow as well. Laughing face from Lux. Yeah, second half just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Be a good one. Halftime 16 points to 6 Poi Hippie is playing 10 right, says Javondre. One moment. Quickly have a check and see what they've done. It seems risky. They've done what they did that year for Super Rugby Aotearoa. They rested all their players and then they ended up not quite doing well. The next one, yeah, Rameka Poi Hippie at 10, Nankerville and Leonard Brown. So it seems like the only player they're really resting is Mackenzie. I think he's the only player in that back line anyway that they've decided to give the break that I can see. Stevenson's still there, Nano Saturo, Nankerville, Leonard Brown, and also Brad Weber is also not there. So they've gone with the 9-10 combo that they'll probably use in the final. They've rested them for this game. Well, now the Blues pulled so far ahead, or Highlanders need to up their tempo. It's the old trick. Park outside someone place, go into the place down the road, says Kiwi Gamer. Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those ones for the police that better than parking straight out in front of someone's house, isn't it? So, when someone has, or like in our case, when they pulled up outside our house, straight away because of the system, I was like, no, we're sweet. Hide that stash and we're all good while they go past. And why not start Rives? Because he is actually a 10. It's a good point. Rives Raihana. I would say the only reasoning behind it might be because they want to keep Poihapi fit and getting minutes under his belt just in case they need him in the midfield or out on the wing for the next match. Next game is my make or break on the multi. More worried about the next game. But there is a strong front. Says the snooze. A nice boss is easy and chilled. Says Nate. Half just around the corner for this one. Showing Tommy Turbo played in the State of Origin match. His team didn't quite go the way that he would have liked. And I, Hamish, says David the Malt. Welcome in, mate. You've been keeping well. I hope you're excited for all the rugby that we've got on this weekend. It's just Super Rugby, which is weird. Very weird feeling. We were thinking about doing a Curry Cup game tomorrow morning, but it would have been probably the 3 a.m. game. So we'll hopefully bring in the Curry Cup next week instead. So we've got the Ashes just around the corner. We've also got the Under-20 World Cup getting closer and closer, as well as I think there's an Under-20s Commonwealth Games or something that's coming up at some stage this year, and that has actually got the sevens in there. So we'll probably be covering some of that on the channel as well. But also, who do you reckon will win against the State of Origin? Says Tui. I mean, now that Queensland have got the 1-0 lead, it's going to be very tricky for the Blues to be able to fire back. Just because if it was the second game home for the Blues, maybe. But yeah, in Queensland, certainly going to be an upwards battle. I want to finish 13-1, says Javondre. And also, big love, brother. And I'd like to see the Force get into the finals. But I also don't want to lose this week. And thank you for covering the South African games. You're a champ. There's Timmy Swift. No worries at all. Speaking of the sevens, though, here's a fun fact. My parents, since they just got back from Fiji, they had some Fiji dollars on them. And there's a $7 note in Fiji, and it actually has the whole of the 7 side on it. Look at that. Hopefully it focuses. It doesn't just focus on my fingers. Come on. Do the thing. Come on. It's going to do it. Hopefully. We'll zoom in more. There's Jerry 2i. Really? Doesn't want to focus? Not even a little bit? It's not going to focus. But yeah, they have all. That's not bad. We'll have to go with that. That's about as good as it can get. But yeah, the $7 note in Fiji actually has the men's and the women's 7 side on it. It's actually on the back. They've got the women's side in a huddle as well, which I thought was quite cool. So they brought that back for me. Now I have $7 Fijian. And also, we have got there, you have to do the Western Province Curry Cup game. It's your mum's favourite Curry Cup team after all, says Grant. Let's go to Blues, says Dewey. And also, that's insane. Did not know Fiji Sevens were on. No. And I guess that just shows how rugby, like, passionate they are over there. I didn't realise that was the case. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, cool. Are you doing the next match too? No, not the next match today. We've got 2 more matches tomorrow that we are doing. Everyone went to sleep during the Super Rugby after 2019. Super covers the best, whether you're undefeated in Super 12 or Super Rugby Pacific, says the snooze. And Let's Go Blue, says Dewey. Hey, brother Sebastian, says David the mod there as well. Currently, we're seeing 14 penalties throughout that first half, which is a little bit of a rough number, I do have to say. And who you reckon in the final, says Tui. It's a hard one to predict at this stage, but the Crusaders are always a tough side to say won't be far in a comp. Chiefs, at the moment, the way that they've been playing, you got to say they'll do relatively well. And then the Blues, looking like they're peaking at one of the right times in this competition as well. What is the next match, says Connor? The next game that is taking place tonight is Brumbies versus Rebels. The next game we are doing on the channel is 4:35 p.m. tomorrow, Reds versus Fijian draw. Even bro Hammy, Auckland 13 and over. Well, $7. No, not bad. Says King T there. Also, cheers, bro. David. They are just talking about the fact that if the Blues get themselves a bonus point victory, they would draw even with the Crusaders. They are outside of the 7 points. Going to be a tricky second half for them. They need to try and get that early momentum like they did in the last half, but then they need to try and keep it, which didn't really happen in the last one. How long is the break? It is another 2 seconds. Now they are back underway. Zahan Sullivan kicks it off for the Blues, and it's a knock on from Hugh Renter to start them off. So exactly what they didn't want for the start of the second 40 minutes. Now Peter Feta goes back across. Now quick hand. Zahan Sullivan goes out to Mark Talia. It was partially forward though. The advantage was over, so the Highlanders will now have themselves the scrum feed. Sullivan looking disappointed there. Renton just not quite taking that one as cleanly as he would have liked. And they live and breathe rugby in Fiji as well as the old rebellion, says David the Mod. And later I'll be back at full time, says Javondre. We'll see you later on. Apparently Eden Park doesn't look as full as I thought it may have been for this matchup, but when they have got their home semi-final next week up against more than likely either the Reds or I don't know, the Waratahs could be a team, either Waratahs, Reds, or Highlanders, or maybe a side that make their way into that top 8. There's actually a slight chance that we could see a Highlanders versus Blues game again. The Highlanders, no, we can't. Never mind. That's kind of good, though. And Drewers, Fours, and Rebels still have a chance to make the top 8 if they win their game. Exactly right. It's only really Moana Pacifica who at this point sadly have no show. Everyone else, though, still within a real crack. So the Highlanders, even if they lose this contest, they could still manage to stay in the top 8 depending on how those other fixtures go. The Rebels, their last chance will be the game later on tonight. If they win that, they'll move up to around 25 points. They'll move up into 7th place, depending on the result of this one, of course. Now the scrum feed for the Highlanders. Scott Robinson. Big Red back in the side. Only his 3rd start for them. They mentioned at the start of this game. That's gone down in the front rows. And there's going to be the scrum reset. Right, Tawanga Fussy saying they were driving in on a bit of an angle there, which is why he wasn't able to get it right. He's going head-to-head up against Jermaine Ainsley. Highlanders have not defeated a New Zealand team since April 2021. I believe it's 15 in a row. Yep, they've just said 15. Last time they won against the New Zealand side, though, it was up against the Blues. 2018, last time they won at Eden Park. Stats are really not in their favour, are they? Which the line out says the snooze. Scrum feed again, Aaron Smith. Out to feed the ball in again for the Highlanders. He's gone down. Now the penalty does go the way of the Highlanders. That's for Tawanga Fussy's elbow going down. Having a bit of a laugh about it. Also taps the referee on the shoulder. Freddie Burns, the man. Says Blues Nate. He'll kick that one into touch. 15 penalties so far throughout the first 43 minutes of the match. So no matter who wins this game, whoever's through to the quarterfinals, they're definitely going to have to improve that discipline or else that will be one thing that might just about cost them that next game. Now Smith back across to Jonah Nariki, took a big shot in there from Dalton Papaliwa. What a stat. They were the team back in the day, says David the Mod. Yeah, they seem to just not quite. Oh, that's a knock on from Aaron Smith. And then a knock on from the Blues. Will now be a Blues scrum feed again. Yeah, it is quite a surprising one that they've gone so many games without a victory over a New Zealand side because they've had a few close games along the way. Showing the most Super Rugby appearances of all time. Aaron Smith sitting second on that list. Only White Crockett in front of him. Look who's back again. What's happening? Hey, Mish. Says, Far, welcome back, mate. And haven't been here in a while. Great to see the channel growing so much, says MK Mazak in there as well. Yeah, we've had plenty of action on the channel over the last little while. We've done every competition we can think of at this stage. And yeah, plenty more coming up. We've got the Ashes. So I hope you've been keeping well, MK Zach. And yeah, my mate passed away. He always went for the Blues. He put a Blues jersey at the crash, or we put a Blues jersey at the crash site for him. So go the Blues, go Kiwi lads, says Anthony. Sorry to hear about you, mate. They've got themselves a penalty advantage. Now for the Blues, Peter Feta, the 45 metres out from the line. Nice offload. Up to Anton Segner on the halfway line. Where's Donna and George? Says Far. Well, my mum's up north. George is at his house at this stage. So one of them was offered a spot on the stream, but did turn it down. The other was on holiday. Now a nice run from Rico Ioane, moving up to 20 metres out from the line. Mark Talia around the side again. Looking good for the Blues here. A lot of front foot momentum. Tuanga Fussy now hits it up again. A little bit slow getting back up to his feet. Absolutely throw himself into that one. Advantage is carried too long these days, says the snooze. Now Finley Christie goes off to Mark Talia. Taken down 5 metres out from the line now. The Blues up to 9 phases. Finley Christie goes off to Tom Robinson. Oh, that's a bit sneaky from Tuanga Fussy. Actually grabbed that ball almost as a part of that breakdown. Now around the side, Tui Pilotu, he's already got himself one try today, looking for his second. Now Christie goes off to the right-hand side. Mark Talia. Great low tackle made on him by Jonah Nariki. There's one thing you can almost guarantee about Mark Talia. Yes, he scores a huge amount of tries. Doesn't get too many assists. The man does not like passing the ball one bit. Oh, that's a knock on from Anton Segner now from the Blues. The referee was playing advantage to the Blues, though. So that overrules the knock on, he said. Knock on by 7 in the tackle. Going to be the Blues scrum. I joined when you were looking forward to getting 1K subs, says Far there. An advantage is carried on and got a punch. There's a snooze and my condolences, Anthony. I can't read tonight, I've noticed. I don't know what it was, but you know when you just wake up on one day and you just can't talk like how you normally would? Like I think my tongue is just not in the right spot in my mouth today. Doing all sorts of madnesses. Robinson moving within inches from the line. There's going to be a scrum feed now to the Blues. 33 minutes remaining. Blues have only lost one scrum feed since round 5, sitting with a 98% success rate throughout the season. Been pretty impeccable. Christie is milking here. It's got a spread, says the snooze. You know, Keith just said about blue ball. There are many jokes I could have made, but I held back. Blues win this game with a bonus point. They would possibly move up into move up into second place. Crusaders lose to the Hurricanes. There is also a chance that the Blues at that stage would move their way up a little bit. And also, my tongue is not in the right spot. Title of Hamish's sex tape, says Grant. That will be the first one. And then the second one, you take out the knot. And it's just my tongue is in the right spot. And it can kind of be like a progressive learning series, Grant, you know, educational. The Highlanders I have no go in them. They're lame. Says David the Mod, and also our condolences, rest easy. Maybe 16th man out, Blues win the Super Rugby 2023 competition from the Blues. Nate, that's going to be now an advantage in favour of the Blues. Christie thinks about using it. Now goes back across to Plummer. Pirafetta off to Mark Talia, who's dropped the ball again. Not for the first time in this contest either. A happy ending, certainly, says Sebastian. How much for a Kiwi Lads cap? Believe it or not, we don't actually have any other than this one at the moment. It was actually sent to us by one of you guys. And yeah, I think all it's done is now meant that I think I've got to get some merch going at some point in the future. We probably, if we did it, we wouldn't do a lot of it just because I don't know what type of, I guess, interest there is there. But yeah, it's a nice enough hat. I think I've got it a bit too low because I can't see over the brim, as they call it now. There's just a random piece of hair there. Also, the black heart from Chiquina there. And also, if they pull the flat pass again, I would like it. There's the snooze, and scrum would be good. 7. Well, scrum would be a good 7 if we are inside 5. There's the snooze. Well, they're currently on the 5-meter line. If they can get this one marching forward, perhaps that 5 or 7 be just around the corner. Christie now feeds the ball in for the Blues. I believe Papali off the back here could be a very good option. Christie going to roll it back though. Although, with him rolling it the way that he did, yeah, it was interesting because normally if that ball is stuck in there, one of your forwards would roll it back, whereas Christie actually went in, got it out the back, and then it was allowed to keep rolling forward. Now, I don't know if that's breaking a rule. It might not be, but it just seemed like a weird thing to have a halfback searching for the ball with his foot, and then the rolling ball then goes forward again, or the scrum, sorry. But it did end up with both sides going up anyway, so we're going to have ourselves another reset, which I think we've had about 6 of since the second half got underway. We love Obi. Says was there from Sebastian, the lads from Obi. Looks like Max Hicks might be holding his hip here, so Withy will make his way out onto the park. They do also have the option of Pari Parkinson. Oh, sorry, not Pari Parkinson. Marino Makeli too. Dodgy, all right, says Jason. Yeah, see, I don't know the scrum laws well enough to know if that's like allowed, but I would have thought as soon as a halfback rolls the ball back, you then wouldn't be allowed to then roll forward again. Hey, Baz. Says Obi. Right, Christie now with another scrum feed, the 6th one of the half. A lot of stoppages so far throughout the second 40 minutes. Right. Feeds the ball in now for the Blues. Big push there from the Highlanders, though. Holding strong. Going across Harry Plummer now to Pirafetta. Almost stolen by Gregory. If he got 2 hands to it, it will just be a knock on. If he got 1 to it, it could be considered as a deliberate knockdown. Now it's going to be Christie goes off to Ricky Riccatelli. And there was a little knock on in the ground there. We're going back for another scrum. Now Ricky Riccatelli's got blood coming out of his nose and he's punched the ground in the process. Yeah. Gregory tried his best to take that catch and he just didn't quite hang on to it either. How many scrums we had so far in this half? They haven't got the stat. Blues have only had to make 25 tackles so far throughout this half, and refs are blind these days. They wouldn't have seen it anyway, says Jason. Possession still 75% for the Blues. Time in opposition 22. 4 minutes 30 compared to the 29 seconds that we've seen from the Highlanders. If you can't intercept, it's deliberate, ref, says the snooze. Although they do have the rule that if you get both hands to it, then it doesn't count as a deliberate knockdown type thing. Or if you're reaching for it, I guess is the other way to look at it. What a shame for Aaron Smith. He's such a great player, but his team isn't doing well, says Justin. Yeah, there's still a chance that they could get into the quarterfinals, though, even if the Highlanders were to lose this game. It would be heavily reliant on other situations and other results, though. Too many says far. Yeah, a lot of scrums. Oh, big push there. That's going to be another advantage now to the Blues. Papali'i goes across now to Finley Christie. Grub it in behind, taken by Harmon. He'll kick it downfield. We're going back for another penalty. Right. What are they going to decide here, the Blues? They could take on another 3 points. I would think strategically, though, they should go for either the corner or the scrum here. If you're Papali'i, because you got to know that if you get 5 points here, you've got a home semi-final theoretically. If you can stay above the Crusaders, that is of course relying on the Hurricanes. They do take the scrum. That's a good choice. Lose too strong. Still plenty of time left. Not over yet. Exactly right. Super Rugby, we've seen. I mean, the Fijian Drua were the perfect example. They scored 3 tries in under 5 minutes to change a game round completely. Bryce Heem there in the stands, I believe, with his parents. About the All Blacks game. Oh, a little bit of strapping though. 18th of June, 7:30 p.m. is when the All Blacks are being announced, ladies and gentlemen. 18th of June, 7:30 p.m. I should probably remember that time, which is why I'm going to take a picture of it. That's the only way I remember things. Well, not really. I have a decent memory, but I'll probably forget it again. That's another penalty. Go on the way of the Blues. Double blow of the whistle. Someone might be getting close to going to the bin now for multiple infringements at the breakdown. And at scrum time, take it right. And it might work this time. Christie's scared. There's the snooze. Right, third penalty. Okay. Third will be a yellow card against Jermaine Ainsley. There you go. That is the information we are working with. IBM Foster isn't selected, says far. A good day today. Says Justin, go the Blues go. Says RPM fair call ref. One more chance, says the snooze. Yeah, they've been saying that Jermaine Ainsley, he's been angling in. And then that last call, that last one, he kind of stepped back a little bit, which then caused it to collapse. So Caleb Clark, he's been taken off the field for AJ Lamb. We're looking at that one very closely, the Blues, and hoping he'll be all right for next week. Reece Marshall making his way onto the field for the Highlanders. That is for Andrew Makaleo. Right. Ball now about to be fed in by Finley Christie for another scrum. Better scrum there from the Highlanders. Put it on heaps of pressure. AJ Lamb, though, with a nice step, knocks the ball on. Sean Whiffy forces. In fact, he didn't put the ball down. So now it's a bit of a counter-attacking opportunity here for the Highlanders. Jonah Nariki gets wrestled down by Mark Talia in through the side. They will go back for the initial knock on rather than penalty. 25 minutes remaining. Shame Jermaine Ainsley as a possible All Black, says Justin. And also, what do you think about State of Origin game? Queensland all the way, says Justin. I mean, yeah, Queensland, they did better in those final moments of the contest, that is for sure. And then with the home game around the corner, going to be pretty tricky. Second half positions, 86% for the Blues here. That does not make it very easy. That is for sure. This, like I said, territory probably relatively similar. New South Wales says Tui. Also the blue from Tui and overplay 2 says the snooze. Or open play. No, overplay maybe. Right, 56 minutes in. Aaron Smith and his Highlanders side 10 points down. Ball's been fed in. Big push there from the Highlanders trying to get that penalty, and I'd have to say they're very close to getting it. No, it's the penalty to the Blues. Aaron Smith not happy with it. Great pronunciation, bro, says Justin Bradweber is a better halfback than Smith, but doesn't get game time or doesn't get the games. Maybe this World Cup, fingers crossed. The Chiefs, says Mark. Yeah, I think Brad Weber, he's played himself definitely not just into the All Blacks jersey, but I'd like to think he'd get a start or two Finley Christie taunting the Blues. Last player I know who taunted was Marnie Lebok. And in that contest, they lost the final. I feel like now Finley Christie, if his side don't go all the way, people will look back at that moment and go, "Ha, serves you right." How many minutes left? We've still got another 27 minutes remaining. Or sorry, a little bit less, about 24 minutes. Well, Blues should be up by more, bruv. And Roygar, the best nine in New Zealand. I think he's got to have a World Cup spot, to be honest. And when our team announced for the World Cup having this week, I don't know when they announced the World Cup side, but they announced the Rugby Championship side on the 18th of June, which might be relatively similar, I would think. Who do the Blues play in the quarterfinal? It is not confirmed as of yet, but more than likely it will either be the Waratahs or the Reds, I believe, are the two sides that they could go head-to-head with. How the Blues go, says Uppy. That's going to be another scrum feed. This first 17 minutes has been all scrums of the second half. And maybe about 1 minute of play alongside the scrums. That's wheeled around. That's going to be another advantage. So I would say a yellow card just around the corner. I think Dalton probably might have knocked that ball on. They're going back for another penalty. This time someone's going to the bin. And that's going to be Jermaine Ainsley. He has been penalised maybe about 4 times in a row now at scrum time. Off Toanga Fussy having a bit of a chat with him now. Oh yeah, Toanga Fussy not too happy with him. Jermaine Ainsley not looking happy either. Dry here would be better for Finley besides milking, says the snooze. And I think that's why a lot of people feel he's not. I wouldn't say people say he's not All Blacks material, but they don't feel he's All Blacks starting or even sometimes All Blacks off the bench material. And yes, Weber and Roygaard and Smith, they're probably the 3 that I would take. Does anyone think Fakatava is still a chance for the ABs? To be honest, I think he's had too lack of amount of time out there on the field so far due to Aaron Smith having all the time. So I would say next year, Fakatava, great chance for him. Definitely if he is the starting number 9 for the Highlanders, but I don't know if he's done enough this year, unfortunately, to have the chance. Also, you can't get a penalty try here, Finn, says the snooze. And Finley, you're about this bag at Nuggy, cheeky Scottish boy. If we don't run it here, WTF are we doing, says the snooze. And any cricket commentary coming up? We do have some. It is going to be the Ashes, actually, the next one. Or we've got the World Test Championship final first, which will be taking place. And then we've got the Ashes. Finley Christie looking to the referee again. Big scrum. And that time the Highlanders get themselves the penalty with the new front row on. And Pari Parkinson now fired up. Blues reserve 9 is good. Stays far. So that'll be Sam Knock, I believe, for this contest. Also, Funaki says Blues name. Oh, is it Telfa Funaki for this game? Or is it Sam Knock? One of the two. Knock, says Nate. Freddie Burns now kicks it downfield. Finley Christie, he's not as smiley as he was when they were getting penalty after penalty now. For some reason. Can't think of why. Highlanders, they don't want to give up in this contest. The Blues, I mean, they need a bonus point if they want to get a little bit further up. Funaki, who's got the ball now? It is now going to be the line out for Reece Marshall and his Highlanders. They're sitting about 30 metres out from their line. Nicely claimed by Pari Parkinson, but it's not a straight throw. So they've blown that one as well. The Blues winning this game are just pissing me off, says the snooze. Oh, wait. It's a free kick to the Highlanders for closing the gap. They're not allowed to put this ball out on the full. They don't want to take the 50-50 risk of scrum time, so he will just kick this one high. Scott Gregory chasing after it. Doesn't quite manage to take it, but he does make a good tackle there on Stephen Pitafeta. Finley Christie off to the right-hand side to offer Toanga Fussy. And Ben spent so much time there, he's calling every call now. On high. Oh, great take from Harry Plummer. Offloads on the inside to Mark Talia, who was tackled without the ball. The Blues do still have possession. It looks like he's a little bit injured here, Mark Talia. Behind from Zahn Sullivan. Nicely taken by Scott Gregory. Puts the chip in behind. Doesn't work out. Now sits up for Tom Robinson. Kick forward by Freddie Burns. And now he just hasn't quite got the pace of it. Rieko Ioane ends up with the ball. They're saying it hasn't been forced, and he's going to try and run this one out now. Gives it off to Ricky Riccatelli. Counter ruck now for the Blues. Depending on what happens at this stage, they may still try and check this one. Nice step from Mark Talia. Round the bootlaces. Harman unable to get the turnover. Back across. Sullivan goes to Perafeta. This game's being played at a higher tempo now. Rieko Ioane, nice step. Moves up to 40 metres out from the line. Stolen in the breakdown by Sean Withy. Now Smith thought about the inside ball to Marshall. Instead goes inside to Burns. Passes off to Gilbert. 20 metres out. Offload up again to Saula Ma'u. Just a tackle, says Ben O'Keefe. Now, Scott Gregory just takes the phase. Trying to set this one up now for the Highlanders. Billy Harmon. Wrestled down again. Still available for them. Goes to the left-hand side. Oh, Paripari Parkinson knocks the ball on. And the penalty goes the way of the Blues for not releasing. I'm still curious to know whether or not Rieko Ioane put that ball down over the goal line. I don't think he did. Because the way he got back up and just acted like nothing happened would possibly mean that he didn't. Compassion by the Landers. And back, says Amelia, welcome back. Now Zahn Sullivan be kicking this one downfield on the left boot. Chris Band taking, I'm going to the movies tomorrow. I'm going to see The Little Mermaid with my little brother, says Amelia. Good kicking behind, though. And Freddie Burns then be able to get through. Finley Christie caught heavily out of position when trying to grab that ball. Oh, very close. That ball being put down by Rieko Ioane, but I believe he just kept it off the turf. And get the plumber in there, lads. Chuck him the spanner, says Blues Nate. Also, I'm having Macca's for dinner, says Amelia. Nice. I think I'm having shoestring fries. Maybe some sort of meat. Not sure which yet. Kirkland. About to throw this ball in as well. And it's because Ricky Riccatelli has been taken off the turf. Sam Knock across the mark to Leo Perafeta. Short ball to Rieko Ioane, who's through again. Finds his offload up to Plummer, who puts the ball down. Accidental offside, I think, by Rieko Ioane. Nope. They just call it as the knock on. And now Highlanders once again have got themselves the scrum feed. Sam Knock also out there on the field for Finley Christie. Yes, I would say Rieko probably very lucky because playing that ball on the ground could have been maybe the more appropriate penalty against them. Tell Plummer to wake up. Says this news, steak and fries, says Far. I don't think I have any steak, though, is the only thing. So it might just be and fries. Going to be honest, the live action Little Mermaid is 10 times better than the original. Says Amelia and Buddy Parkinson are just like his dad, plays hard, says Nate. And go the Blues go, says Uppy. 16 and a half minutes remaining. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the contest. Okay. Highlanders assistant coach saying that he feels they can still get over the line here. They just need to get that execution right. How many minutes says Dewey? There are still 16 minutes remaining. I'll be honest, the second half has been worse in terms of open play, the amount that we've got to see compared to the first half. Oh, steak and cheese pies would do it. It certainly would. Gotta love a steak and cheese pie. Sadly, I've only got cheese of that equation. I could have cheese and chips. Might not be terrible. Cheese loaded fries, that's the thing, isn't it? In restaurants and stuff. Out Scrum going in again. Come out the back door for the Highlanders. Big push again, although it's popped up at the front. They've been told to use it. Sam Knock putting the pressure on. Freddie Burns misses the pickup, but it was almost a good dummy sell because then meant that Sam Gilbert was able to get through and pick it up. And yes, steak and cheese pie with fries, says Far. Although I'm missing the steak and the pie part, so it's cheese and fries. And if the Scrum don't win for the Blues, At that time down there, it would be nothing. Highlanders could pull this off and always blow on your pie, says Anthony. That is good advice. Either that, or what I do is I get like a fork and I just stab the top of it multiple times, or a knife and just rip it apart so that it's open at the top, and then you just close it back over when you think it's cool enough, and then you're good to go. Less tongue burns. Because there's nothing worse than starting a pie and then, oh, Aaron Smith going off the field now. That guy looked familiar, but I don't know many people in Auckland. But yeah, there's nothing worse than biting into a pie, burning your tongue, spilling the mince or whatever's in it, and then not being able to taste the rest of the pie because you burnt your tongue. Don't get those, or just don't get those Western pies though. My dogs don't even eat them, says Jason. Big run forward. Play on, says Ben O'Keefe. Zahn Sullivan now 22 metres out from the line. Run from Auckland. In fact, it's Jordan Lay. Parkinson also now off the field for Marino Makeli to rush defence from Fakatava. Doesn't quite work out. AJ Lamb makes the offload. Goes to Mark Talia. You'll never guess he didn't pass. Doesn't often, Mark Talia. That is one thing that might hurt him a little bit. Now, Perafeta charges forward again. Now off to the left-hand side. Kiriwani, quick hands to Harry Plummer. Couldn't find Papali'i on his outside, very close to the touchline. And Kiriwani able to clean that ball up again. Actually already been out on the field. Talia breaks the line. There was a big gap open. And Talia goes through. Scores the try for the Blues. Now they're one away from that bonus point. I'll play deaf about the pies, says Nate. And also, we have got Western pies, or Westy pies that it was, says Jason. And this pie giving me symptoms. And also, I'm pretty excited for SmackDown, that's for sure, says Amelia. And Talia had to be that man. I mean, to be fair, anyone that they put through that gap, that was a huge, huge hole in the Highlanders' defence. I think Fakatawa was maybe a little bit wider than he should have been. Then alongside that, Billy Harmon, who normally attacked the machine, just not quite able to get there in time. And say hello to Mark, says Tiger Hall. And also, let's go Blues. Oh, they're checking this one. Might be disallowed. Blue player potentially in touch. Now, that will be when, I believe it was Harry Plummer wrestled down to turf. He was very close, but the touch judge said he was still in play. And then the touch judge, I think, now has been like, nah, we'll check it again. Right, Harry Plummer. Is he in touch? Is he in touch? His knee is... Ooh, that's a close one. I said it's a flat pass. Looked released. Says the snooze, and George would have been scared of that. Says far right. It's Harry Plummer's hand still on the ball at the release point. I think he's got it away just... Oh, no, that angle makes it look bad. This is going to be a tricky one. Because if it's a try, Highlanders supporters will be like, no. If it's a try, or if it's no try, Blues supporters will be like, no. So either way, it's not going to be great. And man, that's chalk. No try, says the snooze. Yeah, from one of the angles, it looks like he's just out. From the other, it looks like he may have just got it away. Between the pie stabbing and the fish bashing, I think there's something dark lurking below the surface, Hamish. There's Grant. Oh, he's going to overturn the on-field try. Blue player, I almost said blue Talia is in touch, but yeah, no try for Mark Talia there. Crowd are booing. Told you someone wasn't going to be happy. Either way, there was either going to be booing Highlanders fans or booing Blues fans. Because there are a few more Blues fans in attendance, it's a bit louder. Can't be two in a row, ref, says Spider Mick. And Plummer worst 10 in New Zealand, says Fart. Lucky he's playing 12, eh? Now he probably gets worst 12 in New Zealand. That's the other side of things. Cover both. Oh, big kick. Downfield from Fakatava, only just getting away by Tom Robinson. And I also got to ask, what are our boys doing? Mark Talia makes it look easy, zigzag his way through. There's Blues Nate. Jordan Lay now tackled. Hugh Renton, hands on the player, not on the ball. Now, off to the right-hand side, Rico Ioane. Also not really known for his passing game. Sam Knox sold the dummy, goes across now to Marcel Renata. Just about on the halfway line now for the Blues. To the left, over the top now. Charging forward to Kiriwani, just staying in the field of play. Doing very well. Freddie Burns went flying there. Strong play though. Plummer has a good read, says the snooze. Now Knock. Back across. Peter Feta goes to, I believe it is Tuipulotu. Should mention only 30 seconds remaining of that Highlanders yellow card. Then they will be back to the 15. Two of us a Sheck. Ball up, Knock. Almost had that one slipping out of his hands. It did go backwards. Zahn Sullivan now out to Rico Ioane. Passes on the outside to Mark Talia. And go for the offload there. And over the ball for the Highlanders. That's the Highlanders penalty as well. Talia's not happy, but the offload might have been a good option. And he's an even worse 12 says far. Ball carrier holding on. Nariki doing well. Those two have had a good battle out on that side of the field. Talia and Nariki. Hopefully the Highlanders snap him up. Says far. Going to be kicked downfield now from Freddie Burns. Talia with a good low tackle made by Harmon, who has made a lot. He did miss the original one on Talia just a bit ago. Talia got the better of him. Did make that one nicely. Right, for Tulipai now on the field for Jermaine Ainsley. And the feet, it is the buff. And no points in the second half. What says Beds Ablaze? Yeah, it's been a low scoring game between these two sides. Only the one try scored throughout it. Offloaded back now. Reece Marshall, Waikato pass. Jonah Nariki now kicks it on the inside. Chased hard by Sam Gilbert. I believe he's knocked it on. And if he has it, he slides over the line for the try. They're going to check this one. I think there might have been a knock on. Is Budden Barrett playing? Says Connor, he is not in this contest. He's missing from this one. Right. On-field decision is try here. We all know who's the best team out of the two. Even two tries disallowed. Okay. They're checking for the knock on. Surely a try. Give this game something more. So it's whether or not Sam Gilbert has knocked this ball on. It's hit Peter Fetter's hand. It may have hit Gilbert's as well, though. That's a knock on. That is going to be overturned. No try. That man committed to that. Put him in volleyball. There's the snooze. Also the Blues in there from Linus Tube. Right. It's going to be a scrum feed to the Highlanders because the first knock on was by Stephen Perifeta. So it's no try, but they still have position. Go the Highlanders, says Philly. And let's go the Blues, says Tui. Here as well. Yeah, I think it was Fatuli Pai who ended up losing the boot. Perifeta. Awkward bounce went very steeply. And Bugger says, Jason, although it's not over yet, they have still got themselves another attacking chance. Sean Wallace from the chase in attendance for this game. 63rd birthday today. I was confused at why he's in New Zealand. I was like, I think they have this Chase Australia. They all know who he is because it's on at every 5:30 or so at night time here in New Zealand on Channel 3. Destroyer giving me minus 24K, says the snooze. Here we go against this Spider Mix. So the scrum feed now will be in favour of the Highlanders. I'll bring back the biff, says Jason. Big feed there. All available. Advantage going the way of the Highlanders. Wakatava couldn't find the ball. Now they've got to decide whether or not they want to go for the corner or whether they want to, yeah, they're going to go for the corner. I was going to say they probably don't want to take on the scrum again. Definitely not when you've had a yellow card for a man in scrums. And Sean Wallace says Blues Nate. Right, 5 meters out from the line. The Highlanders with a good chance here. Get themselves within the 7. Won't be easy. Go the ref. Says Linus Juba. No way that was wheeling. Says the snooze. Oh, it's going to be Reese Marshall with the throw in. It also has Kerr in tonight. He makes me happy. I believe it's early morning where Kerr is, but I don't know whether we'll see him today. We may see him tomorrow, though, instead out of the 2 days. If he does show up, though, I have got a package that arrived from him. We'll have to open when he is next on the stream. Fakatava now sells the dummy. Tackled well by Sam Knock. Round the side, Reese Marshall. Tackled that time by Sagna off for Tuli Pai. He slipped down, but it's going to be another penalty in favour of the Highlanders for offside. And the time is under the score on the screen. There's Grant there for how many minutes? Yeah, they're sitting with only 10 minutes remaining in this contest. Exciting finish to the match, I would think. If the Highlanders score now, it just adds that little bit more drama in. And Ben Damn Man, are you lucky I like you? Says the snooze. We've seen 25 penalties throughout this game. Reese Marshall looks like they're going to go with the old school tap and go. Reese Marshall wanting a player on his side, watching from San Francisco. Go the Blues. There's TT. Oh, okay, that's interesting. One of the posts has had their thing ripped off it. They're gonna have to go again here because the padding's come off the post. Could be dangerous. But it stopped the play, whoever it was. Was that Big Red doing a bit of the sneaky? Who ripped it off? Sam Knock and Marcel Renata. I think it was. So because of it, players held up because of the post having the padding come off. Blues need to step up. Come quarterfinals, says Blues Nate. Yeah, I mentioned it at the start when both sides were giving away a lot of penalties in that first half. I said that whoever is in the quarterfinals, whether it is one or both of these two sides, like, they're going to need their discipline a lot better. Defense is testing here. If the Landers try, we know why. Says Spider Mick. I mean, I think it's the opposite. I think if the Blues stop this play, we know why. Because the Highlanders, they had the penalty 5 meters out. I believe the good news is they had the advantage anyway, so they could go back for it, but they didn't get that last little attack and play while under advantage at the line 5 meters out. And first, the guy who put that on fire says, or fire the guy who put that on. There's the snooze. And what about the Hurricanes? Says Justin, they're going to be in the top 8. Makeli 2 off the back. Korvasa Sheck trying to get the strip. Not able to. A little bit of a counter ruck there. Off to the left-hand side. Daniel Leonard Brown. 4 pass from Freddie Burns. But they're going back for another penalty. Now, this has to be close to the Blues last warning as well, I would be thinking. Freddie Burns pushing Akira Ioane. Gets a little slap to the face while he's at it. I don't think that's the battle Freddie Burns wants to get into. Next minute, Landers in the Blues in the quarterfinals. There's the Blues now. I believe the earliest they can meet is the semis, but still just around the corner, 2 weeks away. Shoulders came below hips. Was the call there at line out, or sorry, at scrum time to add to our 57th scrum of the contest. It's not quite that high, but I would say we've had 15 scrums. Adegezbola from Fiji says, Abhishek, hopefully I've said that correctly. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. And against the Landers, says the Snooze. I should mention we are going to be doing the game tomorrow between the Fijian drawer and the Reds, and that is a must-win for the drawer on home soil in Fiji. Should be an outstanding game. 7 minutes remaining now in this contest. Makieli 2 goes back to Fakatava. Quick hands from Freddie Burns. Mitch Hunt not able to take it. Is that accidental offside for Gregory? No, it seems to be play on. And I was eyebrow keen to see the game. Says Cullen there. It's on Sky Sport 1. Your best option if you're here in New Zealand. Now, back across to the left-hand side. Good low tackle made by Jordan Lay. So Freddie Burns may have stayed down a little bit longer there. All the Highlanders have not given up. They just want one try, get them within the 7, and Drew is still in the race. They certainly are. They could end up taking the red spot in the quarterfinal fixtures. Shannon Frizzell hit hard there. It's going to be the ball bouncing around. Segner jumps on it as the ball was loose, and the penalty goes the way of the Blues. Go Blues, go, says Uppy, and good read, says the Snooze. And let's go. Yes, it was K-Aka, I assume that is, with the capital there. And come on, brothers and sisters, and also I think first thing Kerr's going to say, he's got a care package for you. Says Ice Cartel. And also, loose incorrect, says a snooze. It's a big shot. Gregory, not quite in this game so far for Highlanders out on the wing. Oh no, he didn't get a hand to it in the end. Mitch Hunt and Buller from Fiji, Tosso Dura Tosso. There's Drodro Langi. Hopefully I've said that correctly. That looks like Freddie Burns has stayed down with some sort of injury here. I wonder whether or not it was a Kiriwani who ended up lining him up. Draw dangerous at home, says Kayaka. Exactly right. And very heavy rain in Suva since the afternoon. I hope it's not too heavily affected tomorrow because wet conditions, I would say, almost favour the Reds, wouldn't they? Whereas the Fijian draw, if they can get the home turf in dry conditions, they're going to be a very hard side to stop. And I'm back around to the shots quickly. How's the Rugby Rockets, Hamish? You have missed around 15 scrums, Roof. There's been a lot of them throughout the second half. But 5 losses in a row for the Highlanders. The 3 losses in a row at the start of the season has really been hurting them for their overall points. Wrong end of the park, boys. The Highlanders need new coaches, says David. Whereas the Blues, their best winning streak was actually 4 games in a row. They went win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. And then 3 more in a row. And Blues still ahead on the scoreboard. A real slow game. Come on, the Highlanders. There's a roof there. Right. Rob Rush making his way out onto the park. Same with Connor, Garden, Bishop. Yep, back in drawer. Baby, let's go Fiji. Here's Kayaka. Now, I've actually got something slightly special planned for that Fijian Draw Reds stream as well. Slight secret. Be sure to tune in. Something that we haven't done on a Fijian Draw stream before. Let's go the Blues, says Tui. Rob Rush, though. Making his debut now for the Blues. That one goes into touch. Good kick downfield. Fiji will win the Rugby World Cup within 20 years. As far, not much at the moment. Slow game right now, Roof. The flat pass is there. Punch it in. And next minute, Blues try, says Spider Mech. Yeah, this will pretty much, unless the Blues score twice in the next 5.5 minutes, it's almost confirmed that the Blues, they will. Oh, that's a loose ball, though. That was almost a bit of a balls up, but nicely picked up by Marcel Renata. But yeah, they will be finishing 3rd, I believe, on the overall table if they don't end up getting themselves the bonus point victory here. If it continues like this tomorrow, the game will be postponed because most places in Suva will be flooded, says Abhishek. And that would be a really interesting scenario, mainly because I don't think they had any backup days for that game to take place. They'll probably try and play it like maybe midweek. That would be quite rough on the two sides just before the quarters. Did you enjoy the Barbarians? It was a decent game. The first half a lot quicker than the second, a little bit similar to this game to a certain extent. But the Highlanders have ended up back in position now. Fakatava puts in the kick in behind, looking for a little bit of territory, although Zahn Sullivan lurking back there with his massive left boot. We'll give it an almighty heave downfield. Gets it into touch about 40 metres out from the line. And looks like it, Nate. There's more action in my street this morning, says Roof. I can say the same about mine, Roof. We had police officers all over the place, which was interesting. Now 4 minutes remaining. No points scored in the second half. Billy Harmon breaks through the tackle of AJ Lamb, dragged down by Anton Segner. Right, we go like this. At the moment, the Blues still very heavy favourites. Fakatava now. Good cellular dummy there from Falau Fakatava. Doesn't quite get through that last line of defence, though. Now the ball's been thrown out. Ben O'Keefe does very well to evade that one. What size is his left boot? Says far. I'd say he's probably rocking about a US 12, somewhere around there, I'd say, for Zahn. Somewhere around there. Now McAley too. Good stepping. Ball stripped away by Tom Robinson, but the ball is taken back by the Highlanders. Another scrum in this one. Sullivan winning by 3, says the snooze. Vakatava is that gap finder for the World Cup. Says the snooze in there as well. Vakatava, though, almost able to find the gap. Almost able to get that last little break that the Landers need. Even getting 1 point here, I mean, it doesn't secure anything, but it stops another one of the sides slightly sneaking up there, which is really only the Fijian Drua, or sorry, the Rebels. Are they? No, they can't. Oh, maybe. Depends on their game a little bit, but yeah. Highlanders still need a victory here to have a good shot at the quarterfinals, but they can still go through even without it. There's no way the All Blacks will win the Rugby World Cup this year, says Joke the Woke. I think we've had someone comment that on every single Super Rugby live stream so far this year, which is almost quite impressive to a certain extent. And Drew sounds like more entertaining there, Roof. Says Blues, and also if Drew lose. Oh, this is another double blow of the whistle now. This is the last warning. Your loose set on this side's not staying straight. Okay, so last warning there for Jordan Lay. And Kiwi Rugby head mentality is too weak, says Joke the Woke. If Drew lose, they have to rely on the Brumbies to beat the Rebels, says Abhishek. Right, the Highlanders are willing to take on the 3 points here. And that does go over. So that will now be the first points of the second half, making the score 16 points to 9. Sorry, Canterbury Blues will reign Blues, says Tui. So they've actually gone with get the bonus point, which doesn't really change too much for them, but they are looking for that extra bonus point time. Seems to be what they are actually going to be going for here. Rather than trying to score that try and running out, Irish, I think, will win, says Linus Chew. Right, the Blues, 90 seconds remaining. They need to score a converted try here for the Highlanders, and that would take us to golden point, like I mentioned. Now, what's going on with our Highlanders, brother, says Brommy. I mean, I've been a bit rough, but they probably haven't been terrible in this game with like the overall looking at how both teams have performed. It's just they've lacked a lot of possession in this contest. Mitch Hunt driven backwards for Tuli Paya now, tackled by Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. That's going to make it extremely hard. And it's going to be a 5-meter scrum now for the Blues ABs. Says Tui, and going deep. The defense will hold on. Will hold off. Says the snooze. And what do you want about Drew? I need to win. Says Pizza Blaze, and also Try Time says the snooze and the 5-meter baby. There's the snooze there as well. The Highlanders, they're currently within 7. Now, if the Blues score here, that will take away 1 point from the Highlanders. Leave them on 23 with a points differential of around that minus 80, maybe minus 76 mark, somewhere around there, depending on whether or not the kick goes over if they were to score one more. Blues now with Sam Knock going to be feeding this ball in. There should be no way they can lose from here unless there's a turnover here and a breakdown, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. 10 meters, in fact, now 3 meters. Renata almost dragged over the line. It looks like they're going to be claiming that one, are they, the Blues? Yes, they do. It is the try. No. Clearly short. He's moved again. The penalty goes the way of the Highlanders. This game is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. I thought he gave it as a try there, Ben O'Keefe, but it's double movement. Renata's crawled over the line. And the Highlanders now have one last crack. Blues should win, says Daniel. And so a chalk, baby. Check the replay, says the snooze. And right on the sticks, any would do. And come on, Crusaders, rock them all. Right, that one's gone into touch for the Highlanders. They're going to be about 30 meters out from their line. Now, Highlanders, one last chance. The heavy rain will favour the Reds, I agree. I feel like the Fijian Drill definitely prefer a dry game of rugby rather than the damn conditions that's thrown in. Claimed by the Highlanders. Fakatava, flat ball to Jonah Nariki. I will say once again, if this game goes to golden point time, or if this is even at the end of the game, or was that a knock on from Hugh Renton? No, they say it's gone backwards again. Come on, the Landers. And asking a guy what size shoe do you wear? It's like asking one what's your bra size, baby. Says Roof and Islanders need a try and conversion to make it a draw. And yeah, then they would go to that golden point time. Inside ball from Fakatava. Sam Knock trying to get over the ball. Same with Anton Segner. The penalty goes the way of the Blues. So now I believe they will take the tap. They will kick this ball into touch. And they will say that is the end of the game. They don't actually have anything to gain from going for anything other than tapping and kicking this ball out. So they do put the ball into touch. One try scored throughout this fixture, ladies and gentlemen, and that was the lone try in the first half for the Blues, 16 points to 9. So it is, I take 2 in the roll. There's Lowell Philly there, and also come on the Blues, there's Uppy in there as well. But nonetheless, I think we are almost near the end of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Why do they not get a point for a draw? Why do they do golden point? It's just the way that the competition is laid out. So pretty much they get a draw if it stays drawn after, I believe it's 10 minutes of golden point time. But if they don't end up having any points difference throughout that, if someone gets the points, then they get the win. And then Anton Segner is good. Steers far. Yeah, he managed to get himself a crucial turnover there for the Blues. They wouldn't have wanted to go to golden point. Managed to get themselves the victory. Although Dalton Papali, he says that he's satisfied with the victory, but I think that penalty count definitely something they will have to look at for next week if they want a really good chance of winning their side. And not too convincing going into the playoffs, says Jason. Yeah, few too many penalties. Handling was a bit rough, but you'd have to say maybe just the slightly damper conditions, maybe the pressure as well. For the Blues, thanks so much to your super duper commentary rocker, says Ruth. And then bye, mate. See you in the next stream. So the next stream is going to be at 4:35 p.m. tomorrow, and that is the game between the Fijian Drua and also they are playing the Reds. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I enjoy and cover with Happy Sai, says Abhishek. And there as well. Yeah, a couple big games coming up tomorrow. The Rebels, if they win their game up against the Brumbies, that would then put them, for now, into the top 8. So that will be a closely watched game by the Lander supporters. Only another 34 minutes until that one will be kicking off. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you all for the next one.